Hello, this is English Full Service, and we're going to be talking about IELTS Writing Task 1. Alright, so we have three parts. And the first part is outlining or preparing. We're going to allow 5 minutes to think about the big picture and details to write an outline. The second part would be the actual writing. We'll allow for 14 minutes, use set phrases and write. And finally, part 3 will include revising. Alright, here we go. So in the previous slide I mentioned that there are 3 parts. Now those 3 parts are going to be broken down into 5 steps. Steps 1, 2, and 3 constitute part 1, thinking about what you want to present, the big picture and small picture, the details. Step 4 is part 2, the writing, and step 5 is part 3, revising. It deserves its own step because it's that important. Alright, so thinking about what you're going to present the reader with. And we can start by asking ourselves some questions. And as you see here, we have a variety of questions we can ask ourselves to gather more information. Next, some ideas of what to look for when you're looking at the graph or chart itself. And finally, there are some tips. Ultimately, you have to make a decision what you're going to include. We have this silly acronym GPOP STOP, and that stands for grammar, presenting data, overall, prepositions of time, signposting, transitions, observations, and presenting values. All of these will be important. The next couple slides will be dedicated to outlining. First, we need to outline our introduction. That's very short, it's very simple. We have 2 jobs. The first job is to paraphrase the prompt. Paraphrasing the prompt means changing verbs if need be, using synonyms, using different word forms. If they give us a noun form, we can use that as a verb if possible, using different adjectives and adverbs. We also want to be sure to use different prepositions if we can. Finally, we have to think about the biggest picture because we need to prepare the reader for the rest of the report. Now we're going to talk about the meat of the report. And as you see here, I've decided that 2 paragraphs should be sufficient to express the most important information in this report. As you see here, we have 2 big pictures, and within each picture, labeled A and B, you can see that I focused on similarities and differences. And when we speak about similarities and differences, there's a particular type of language we should use. We should use language to present data, to express an increase or decrease, and we should use a variety of verbs, adverbs, and adjectives to add another level of sophistication to our sentences. That being said, we should also use prepositions, signposting, and if there are any exceptions, we should note them. The hardest work is already behind us. We've prepared ourselves to write. We have an outline, we have good language that we will be sure to use. Now all we need to do is put it into writing, and you're ready for that. You've committed yourself to this writing process. You thought about what you wanted to do, you prepared, you took notes, you wrote. Now it's time to revise. It's very important that you revise. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. So will you. So give yourself time and find your mistakes. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found this video useful. It's been a pleasure. If you have any further questions, please feel free to email, call, and join us on any of those various forms of social media.